Hi everybody, welcome to Term 4, Reading Monday, Week 1. This week we're going to look at recount texts. We're sort of starting off slowly. We're going to look at recount texts this week, and so is Mrs. Monday for writing. And we're kind of going back to the literary circle type activities. So this week is going to be getting your head back into that, kind of warming you back into things. Now, all of the activities we do this week, and it's going to be the same sheet every day with different texts, they need to be kept because next week when we start our reading instruction Zoom meetings, you will be required to bring that work with you and you will be required to talk about one of those texts with your teacher. So for that first meeting, the work will already have been done this week. You just need to bring it and be prepared to talk about it. That's what was missing in our reading instructions that we want to pick up this term is the talk and the discussion and the learning from each other. So you must keep all of this week's work and be ready to bring it to a meeting next week. More information about that to follow. So first of all, our sample text, I hope you've read it or you've listened to me read it. I wanted to do that because I wanted to give you an example of what we expect from you because it's the same document every day this week to help you figure out what is it exactly that you want me to do. So at the top, of course, you put your name and the text, and it's called A Simple Job. And the summary, this is an example of a summary, my example. In this text, a simple job. A boy and his father set out to complete a small task, build a small brick wall. After a series of problems, the job does not get done. The father has to call in the experts to finally get the job done, which he probably should have done in the first place. That's my summary. The next part of the sheet is to find two paragraphs to shine a light on. Remember the literary luminary shining a light on something? So these are important paragraphs. They've got something special in them, the message or something that you would like to highlight. So I've highlighted paragraph 8. So if you wanted to go back to the text, you could count down along just paragraph 8. And I've said this is where the son believes in his father to get the job done, even though things have gone wrong before. And I like the way the boy has faith in his dad. So even though he knows some things have gone wrong before, he said, no, I believe dad can get this done. That paragraph shows that. My next choice is paragraph 19, so towards the end, and this is the paragraph where Dad finally admits that he needs help, even though he doesn't say that to the man in the shop, and it seems as though Dad has learnt a lesson, but we don't really know. So those are my two paragraphs I would shine a light on. Those are my answers to those, and I've given you a copy of them so you can go back and refer to them, print them off maybe, or keep them somewhere safe for this week so you can keep referring back to them. The question is for you to do a deep and thoughtful question. Remember, we've talked about questions a lot. They're not surface level questions. They're not things like, what's the name of the main character? What's the setting? It's not that sort of a question. It's a deep question. If we had 8 people sitting around the table and we asked your question to them, there should be 8 different answers to it. It's that kind of a question. It's got so many answers, depending on everybody's opinions or ideas. So my question is, why didn't Dad admit that he'd made a mistake? So every single person who I ask that question to might have a different reason for why Dad didn't admit that he'd made a mistake. Why didn't he tell the bloke in the shop that it had all gone pear-shaped? What was the purpose of telling a lie, if you like? So that would be my question. So we're looking for deep questions, not surface level, not one answer questions. That's kind of one of the hardest things to do, I think, and that's why we need to be talking to each other so you can hear examples of good questions from other students and you can answer examples of good questions. On to the other side, or to the other page, so task sheet 2, and we're back to making connections. So I've put a box in there for the 4 different types of connections. See if you can make a connection to each. These are just my suggestions for text to self. I made a self connection because I tried to patch up some dodgy painting here at the house one day, and I actually made it worse because I used the wrong colour. It's only slightly different, but it's the wrong colour, and it's patches on a door, so that's actually, I thought, oh yeah, that'll be easy. Made it worse. Text to weld. I know that people try to fix things in their houses all the time and actually end up making them worse. I've heard lots of stories about that. People say, oh yeah, I'll just fix that. No, don't do it. Text to text or text to media, and I know there are lots of renovation shows that are on TV that show that sort of thing, that people try things and then it goes wrong. They have to get somebody else in to help fix it up. And the last one is text a character, theme, or a world issue. So this is a deeper sort of connection. And my connection to that was that I understand how Dad feels when he discovers that he's wrong, because you have to learn from your mistakes and move on. There are lots of things in my life where I've discovered, I was really standing up for myself on things and then thought back later and thought, oh, actually, that probably wasn't right. But what do you learn from that is the main thing. So that's my deeper connection. The next box is something we haven't done before. It's about words, and you'll see from the box that you choose a word, and I've popped that in the top left-hand corner, desperation. Then you find a synonym, a word that means the same. So I've written anxiety is kind of the same as desperation. An antonym, a word that means opposite. So if you're not anxious or desperate, you would be calm. I've put that in. And then a word that shows, put the word in a sentence that shows that you know what it means. And my sentence would be, the man tried to outrun the bull. In desperation, he leapt over the fence. So that is my example. Keep referring back to that if you're not quite sure. And as the week goes on, we expect you to build on your learning, see the feedback from the teacher, use that the next day to make your work better. And remember, you need to keep all of this work this week. And also, could you please let your teacher know if the text is too easy or too hard, and I'll allocate something else for your group, or you'll be moved into a different group depending on how things are going. Let's just see how the first couple go, and then it'll be up to your teacher to let you know what to do about the text. Anyway, enjoy everybody. I hope you had a great holiday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.